Have you ever felt like your whole world was crumbling down around you? For young Anna, that moment came when she learned her father wouldn't be coming home from his military deployment. The heartbreaking news sent her spiraling into despair, but little did she know, it was just the beginning of an incredible journey that would change her life forever. Anna and her father were two peas in a pod. He was her rock, her hero, and her best friend, all rolled into one. When he got deployed, Anna put on a brave face, but inside, she was terrified of losing him. The day he left, Anna hugged him tight, trying to memorize every detail of his face and the feeling of his strong arms around her. "I'll be back before you know it, Pumpkin," he promised. But deep down, they both knew the dangers he faced, and danger he faced. Not long after his deployment, Anna's father was killed in action. When her mother broke the news, she was devastated. As the days turned into weeks, Anna's world seemed to lose its color. She went through the motions of daily life, but it was as if a piece of her soul had been ripped away. The house felt empty without her father's booming laughter and comforting presence. Anna's mother tried her best to be strong for her daughter, but the weight of her own grief was almost too much to bear. At school, Anna struggled to concentrate. The lessons seemed meaningless compared to the hole in her heart. She watched as her classmates laughed and played, feeling like an outsider looking in on a world she no longer belonged to. Even her favorite activities, like playing soccer and drawing, lost their appeal. As time passed, Anna retreated further into herself. She spent hours alone in her room, clutching her father's old military jacket, breathing in his familiar scent. Tears became her constant companion, streaming down her face as she remembered all the moments they had shared. The bedtime stories, the piggyback rides, the silly inside jokes. Each memory was a bittersweet reminder of what she had lost. Anna's mother watched helplessly as her daughter slipped further into despair. She tried to coax Anna out of her room, to engage her in conversations, but the once vibrant little girl had become a shadow of her former self. The sparkle in her eyes had dimmed, replaced by a dull, haunted look that no child should ever have to wear. At night, Anna's dreams were haunted by visions of her father. Sometimes, she saw him smiling at her, his arms open wide for a hug. Other times, she saw him in the midst of battle, surrounded by chaos and danger. She would wake up screaming, her heart racing, only to remember that her nightmare was now her reality. As the months dragged on, Anna's despair began to turn into anger. She lashed out at her mother, at her teachers, at anyone who tried to reach out to her. Why did her father have to leave? Why did the world keep moving on when her life had come to a screeching halt? She felt like she was drowning in a sea of emotions, with no lifeline in sight. But even in her darkest moments, there was a small part of Anna that refused to give up hope. She clung to the memories of her father's strength and courage, drawing on them like a lifeline. She knew he would want her to keep fighting, to find a way through the darkness. And so, with a heavy heart and a flicker of determination, Anna began to take the first tentative steps towards healing. It was during one particularly difficult day at school that Anna first encountered a glimmer of support. As she sat alone on a bench, tears silently streaming down her face, the school counselor approached her with a gentle smile. "Hey there, Anna," she said softly, taking a seat beside the grieving girl. "I know things are really tough right now, but I want you to know that you're not alone. We're all here for you, and we want to help in any way we can." At first, Anna barely registered the counselor's words, too lost in her own grief to even consider the idea of support. But as the woman continued to speak, her gentle voice began to penetrate the fog of despair that had enveloped Anna for so long. She looked up, her eyes red and swollen from crying, and saw genuine concern etched on the counselor's face. "I know it feels like the pain will never end," the counselor said softly, placing a comforting hand on Anna's shoulder. "But I promise you, it will get easier with time, and until then, you have people who care about you and want to help you through this." Anna felt a flicker of something she hadn't experienced in months: hope. It was small, barely a glimmer, but it was there. For the first time since her father's death, she felt like maybe, just maybe, she wouldn't have to face this alone. In the days that followed, Anna began to notice small acts of kindness from those around her. Her neighbor, an elderly woman named Mrs. Thompson, started leaving freshly baked cookies on her doorstep with little notes of encouragement. At school, her teacher pulled her aside and offered to help her catch up on the assignments she had missed during her darkest days. Even her classmates, who had once seemed so distant and unreachable, began to show their support in their own ways. One girl, Sarah, invited Anna to sit with her at lunch, even though they had never been close before. Another boy, Max, offered to be her partner on a class project, patiently explaining the concepts she had missed. Each small gesture, each kind word, began to chip away at the wall of grief that had surrounded Anna's heart. She started to feel a sense of connection again, a realization that there were still people in the world who cared about her and wanted to see her heal. One particularly pivotal moment came when Anna's mother suggested they attend a support group for families who had lost loved ones in the military. Anna was hesitant at first, afraid to face her pain head-on, but her mother gently encouraged her to give it a try. At the meeting, Anna sat in a circle with other children who had experienced the same heartbreaking loss. As they shared their stories, their tears, and their memories, Anna began to feel a sense of belonging. These kids understood her pain in a way that no one else could, and for the first time, she didn't feel so alone. As the meeting came to a close, a young boy named Liam approached Anna. "I lost my dad too," he said quietly, his eyes filled with a sadness that mirrored her own. "But my mom always tells me that he's still with us, watching over us from above." "Maybe your dad is too." Anna felt tears well up in her eyes, but for once, they weren't tears of despair. They were tears of gratitude, of hope, of the realization that even in the darkest of times, there was still light to be found. As she walked out of the meeting, hand in hand with her mother, Anna felt a flicker of something she hadn't felt in a long time, a sense of peace. She knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, she believed that she could make it through. And with each step she took, each small act of kindness she encountered, that flicker of hope grew stronger, guiding her towards a future she had once thought impossible. These first glimmers of support and understanding marked a turning point in Anna's journey. Little did she know, they were just the beginning of a series of events that would lead her to find a new family in the most unexpected of places. As Anna began to embrace the support around her, life had a few more surprises in store. It started with a chance encounter at the local park, where she often went to seek solace. An elderly man was struggling with a heavy bag of groceries, and without thinking, Anna rushed to help him. "Thank you, young lady," he said, his eyes crinkling with gratitude. "You remind me of my granddaughter. She's about your age." That simple act of kindness sparked a friendship that would change Anna's life. The man, Mr. Johnson, turned out to be a retired military veteran who had served alongside Anna's father. As they talked, Anna felt a connection to her dad that she thought she had lost forever. Mr. Johnson began sharing stories about his time in service, painting vivid pictures of bravery and camaraderie. Anna hung on every word, feeling closer to her father with each tale. Soon, their meetings became a regular occurrence, and Anna found herself looking forward to their conversations. One day, Mr. Johnson brought along his daughter and granddaughter to meet Anna. The girl, Lily, was shy at first, but soon the two were chatting like old friends. Anna's mother watched from a distance, tears in her eyes as she saw her daughter laugh for the first time in months. As autumn arrived, Anna's school announced a community service project. Students were asked to volunteer at local organizations. Anna chose the Veterans Center, hoping to honor her father's memory. There, she met other children who had lost parents in the line of duty. They formed a tight-knit group, supporting each other through difficult days and celebrating small victories together. During one of her volunteer shifts, Anna met a young soldier who had recently returned from deployment. He was struggling with the transition back to civilian life, and Anna found herself sharing her own experiences of loss and healing. The soldier listened intently, and by the end of their conversation, both had tears in their eyes. "Your father would be so proud of you," he told her, his voice thick with emotion. "You're carrying on his legacy of kindness and strength." Those words touched Anna deeply, igniting a spark of purpose within her. she began to see that her father's love and values lived on through her actions. Each act of kindness, each moment of connection with others who understood her pain was a tribute to his memory. As winter approached, Anna's mother suggested they host a holiday dinner for other military families in their community. Anna threw herself into the preparations, baking cookies with Mrs. Thompson and decorating the house with Lily. The night of the dinner, their home was filled with laughter, stories, and the warmth of newfound friendships. Looking around the table, Anna realized that her family had grown in ways she never expected. There was Mr. Johnson, sharing another story from his service days. Lily and her parents, who had become like a second family, the children from the support group, their eyes shining with understanding, and her mother, smiling more brightly than she had in months. In that moment, Anna felt a profound sense of belonging. The void left by her father's absence would never completely disappear, but it was being filled with love from unexpected places. She realized that family wasn't just about blood relations. It was about the connections we forge through shared experiences and mutual support. As the evening wound down, Anna stepped outside for a moment of quiet reflection. Looking up at the stars, she whispered, "I miss you, Dad, but I think you'd be happy to see our family now. It's bigger and different, but it's full of love, just like you always wanted from me." Throughout Anna's journey, from the depths of despair to the heights of newfound joy, there was one constant presence that guided her steps and gave her strength: the memory of her beloved father. Throughout Anna's journey, from the depths of despair to the heights of newfound joy, there was one constant presence that guided her steps and gave her strength: the memory of her beloved father. Even in his absence, his love and his lessons remained a beacon of light, illuminating the path forward and reminding Anna of the resilience that lay within her. In the early days after his passing, Anna clung to the memories of their time together like a lifeline. She would close her eyes and picture his warm smile, the way his eyes crinkled at the corners when he laughed. She could almost hear his voice, deep and comforting, telling her that everything would be okay, that she was stronger than she knew. As Anna began to navigate the world without him, she found herself turning to his wisdom in moments of doubt and fear. When the grief threatened to overwhelm her, she would remember the stories he had told her of his own struggles, of the times he had faced seemingly insurmountable odds and had come out the other side stronger and more determined than ever. She thought of the way he had always encouraged her to chase her dreams, to never let anyone tell her what she was capable of. She remembered the pride in his eyes when she had stood up for a classmate who was being bullied, the way he had hugged her tight and told her that compassion was the greatest strength of all. And so, even as Anna faced the challenges of building a new life, of opening her heart to new people and new experiences, she carried her father's legacy with her every step of the way. When she volunteered at the animal shelter, she channeled his kindness and his gentle touch. When she sat with the support group, she shared the stories and the laughter that he had once shared with her. There were moments, of course, when the pain of his loss still felt raw and all-consuming. Birthdays and holidays, the anniversary of his passing. These were the times when Anna felt his absence most keenly. But even in those moments, she drew strength from the knowledge that he was still with her, watching over her from a place beyond the veil. She would talk to him sometimes, in the quiet of her room or the stillness of the early morning. She would tell him about her day, about the challenges she had faced and the joys she had found. And in those moments, she could almost feel his presence beside her, his hand on her shoulder, his voice whispering words of encouragement and love. As the years passed and Anna's new life blossomed, her father's legacy remained a constant guiding force. She knew that he would be proud of the woman she had become, of the family she had built, and the difference she had made in the world. And she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, no matter how dark the path may seem, his love and his strength would always be there to light the way. In the end, Anna realized that her father's greatest gift had not been the years they had spent together, precious though they were. It had been the lessons he had taught her, the love he had instilled in her heart, the resilience and the compassion that he had nurtured within her. These were the things that would endure long after his physical presence had faded. These were the things that would carry her through, no matter what life may bring. And so, as Anna looked to the future, she did so with a heart full of gratitude and a soul full of hope. She knew that her father's legacy would live on, not just in her own life, but in the lives of all those she touched. And she knew that no matter where her path may lead, he would always be with her, guiding her steps and shining his light, a constant reminder of the love that never dies. It was a lesson that she would carry with her always, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope to be found. That by opening our hearts to others, by extending a hand in compassion and understanding, we can weather even the fiercest of storms. For those who have faced their own tragedies, who have known the depths of grief and despair, Anna's story offers a powerful message of resilience and hope. It is a reminder that we are all stronger than we know, that even in our darkest moments, there is always a glimmer of light waiting to guide us home. So, if you've been touched by Anna's journey, please consider subscribing to our channel for more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.